once you've traced your silhouette, you're now going to add on the other layers of your silhouette. So you need to have a layer that's going to be completely black, that's your silhouette. Then you're going to have other layers to give depth. This is called atmospheric perspective. As objects are farther away from you, they appear lighter and they sometimes appear more blue in color. So in this case, we have, for the twilight, this one's in black, this is in purple, this is in lighter purple, and then you have this sky. Okay, so what I need to do here is this silhouette will be in black, but then I'm going to add the water, okay, because this is a beach scene, okay, and then I want to add another layer on top of that. So maybe I want to put another part of like some mountains or the beach farther away. When you get your paint, you only need the colors for the background for the first day. So if you are painting the sunset, you're going to need red and yellow. If you are painting the twilight, you're going to need violet, ultramarine blue, also called warm blue, and the black. Okay? All right. For the sunset, you're going to start with the yellow on top. Okay? You're going to use a bigger brush to get that even. I can paint over my cloud, that's fine, because I can still see where the pencil line is. We're going to do something called an ombre. So an ombre is where you paint one color and it's going to blend into another color really evenly. I don't have to worry about my silhouette too much because, again, that's going to be black and I can see through the paint. Okay, so I remember where to paint that. I want to go right up to the edge, but I'm concerned about getting this paint on the table, so I'm just going to lift up my paper just a little bit, or my canvas that I'm painting on, so I don't get too much paint on the table. All right, while this paint is still wet, okay, so you have to do this in the same day. You're going to now pick up some red and I'm going to blend it in at the same time, okay, to the yellow. And we know that when we blend in red and yellow, it should make an orange. To get the paint wet again, okay, because the paper is absorbing the paint, or as it's drying out, dip your brush into water and then keep brushing on top like this. Okay, so dipping the brush in the water to get that paint so it's moving, what we call it's moving again. Okay, if I want more yellow, I just dip my brush into the yellow and I blend, so I'm getting a nice even blend from yellow to red. Okay, I keep dipping my brush into the water to keep it wet. Okay, so here I painted the sunset sky. You really need to dip the brush, keep dipping the brush into the water and keep blending your sky so it's nice and even like this. You should still be able to see some of your drawing through the paint. Okay, get it as even as you can. Remember that in a painting, you can paint over areas as many times as you want. Okay, so it's not just a one-time layer. Okay, if I want this more yellow, I'm going to just add more yellow at the top. All right, then you're going to let this dry to next day. All right, during the twilight, painting. It's a little bit different. It's not going to be an ombre sky. It's going to be more of a mixed sky. So I'm going to take black at first, my black. I'm going to paint it at the top here. Okay. And then I'm just going to pick up some of my ultramarine blue and I'm going to paint that in. Okay. Not really going in an ombre. I can also use my purple, blend that in. Okay. So again, this is wet on wet painting, but not an ombre. Okay, so wherever I want to add my purple, wherever I want to add my blue, it's fine. Remember that black is a really strong color, so a little black goes a long way. I want to paint the background nice and solid. I don't want to have any brush strokes in there. So you may have to, just like the sunset, you may have to keep painting on top another layer. Okay, paint right up to your silhouette, but try not to go over your silhouette too much. You can go back and fix the lines. It's okay to look like that, but you don't want to completely paint over it because these are dark colors and you won't be able to see the pencil through. Now if you have small areas that you need to paint in, you can always get a smaller brush, okay? Because maybe your silhouette's a little more complicated and you just go back and you can use a smaller brush to paint in like this around your edges, okay? Once you paint this in, just like the sunset, you're going to let it dry, okay? And come back for part two. Okay, part two, you're going to now paint the middle colors, not the silhouette yet. The last part is the silhouette. For the sunset, you need to mix up yellow, red, which make an orange, and a tiny bit of violet. That's going to make a brown color. You need 2 shades of this brown color. So one needs to be lighter, one needs to be darker. The object in the background, the furthest back, not the sky, okay, is going to be the lighter version. Remember that in atmospheric perspective, the objects that are farther away appear lighter. I'm using a round brush. You can use, which is a smaller brush. You can also use this small flat brush. Because now you want to do some careful painting, okay? You want to make sure you paint over the edge, okay, so that your sky meets up the orange. I want to paint where my silhouette goes right up to the edge of that brown. Okay. Next one is my darker version. Remember, this paint dries kind of fast, so you have to keep dipping your brush into the water. Okay. But if you dip it too much, this is what's going to happen. Okay. So you need to make sure you have kind of a in-between level of water, like not too much water and not too little water. Okay, I'll mix a little. Remember, this is my darker version of that orange. Well, it's kind of a browny red color. Okay, that's going to go right in the middle. You're painting carefully, but remember, if you want to go back and you want to fix things, you can always cover it over with the black silhouette. Okay. When you are painting the Twilight version, here's my Twilight version, okay? The colors that you're going to mix up are, for the lighter background, you're going to take violet, you're going to mix white into it, okay? So violet and white. That'll give you this lighter purple color. It's going to go right, remember this is the farthest away mountain or hill or level that you have. Okay, you're going to paint that all in, and then your next middle color is just going to be more violet. All right, so I just take that same color that I just mixed up, and that's going to go right here, because my silhouette's going to be black. Okay, with the once I finish those two background colors, now I'm ready for this silhouette. Couple things to remember about painting these colors. When we paint from back to front. That's why we painted the sky first. Then we paint these mountains on top, and then this is another layer on top of the mountains and on top of the sky. So as you paint each layer, you want to make sure that if you mix up a color and paint it here, this color has to be the same throughout the entire layer. If you run out of this color and you have to mix it again, then you have to repaint this entire area so that it is the same color. The other thing you want to do is make sure you don't see these brush strokes. You want it nice and flat. And then as you paint, make sure that you're carefully not painting over areas because you will need to, if you paint over an area that needs to be, let's say you accidentally paint over the sky, you're going to have to repaint that entire sky all over again and start all over, right? So you want to be careful about that. All right, so painting the silhouette. This is just pure black. Okay, I'm just getting my pure black paint. All right, and you just, start filling in. Okay, just remember that the black is the last layer. So when you paint it, you want to be really careful not to accidentally go over areas that you don't want painted in, or you're going to have to redo it again. All right, so you have to make these edges really, really nice and clean and sharp. Okay, this is going to be filled in all with black, of course, and down here as well. Okay, so whatever's in silhouette is going to be all black. All right, and the last thing you're going to do with the Twilight is put those spatters in the sky for the stars. So how to do that is you need to do something called masking. That means you need to take a piece of paper, okay? We're going to put it over the area we do not want to get any white paint on, okay? So I'm going to cover my area. I'm going to get white paint. Okay, I want it really pure white. I don't want it dirty. I'm going to thin it out with some water. Okay, and you can practice with the brush, all right? But how I do it is I have to use my index finger and my thumb, okay? And you're going to pull it and you're going to spatter like this, all right? So you can practice first before you do this. And then I'm just going to flick it, okay, just like this, to make all those stars in the sky. All right, just like that. Okay. All right, and then that's the last step, all right? And you can take your mask off and see how it didn't get any. Now, because the paper didn't match exactly, I kind of carefully go back. Just kind of little, fill in just those little areas, okay? If it got on my silhouette, I can paint that black again. All right, and then that's the last step, and you're done.